Good afternoon. My name is Scott Redler, Chief Strategic Officer at TeachMeLive.com, here with Lulu, who's in training to be a service dog. And my nickname is Red Dog, so I figured Lulu could help me with one of the last recaps of the year. So at this point, today was an interesting day. Why was it an interesting day? Because it looked like we were going to go to Dow 20,000, and then, market started green, went red, and then engulfed prior ranges. Right, Lulu, do you like when charts engulf prior ranges? Say yes or no. Yes or no? Or maybe not. Or you want to just sit here and look handsome or cute like you do. Okay, so here we go. Let's go to the charts. So what do we talk about when we see an engulfing day? We take notice and we change a little bit. If you look here, to start the day, we had a nice bull-looking type of flag pattern that seemed as if it could be taken out to the upside. Okay, so if you go like this, as of yesterday, who would have known? You never know when you come into a day of trading. You just be positioned. And I came in with 6-7 longs. So you look here, you had obviously the pre-election sell-off, the post-election comeback, and then this was your descending trend line. And then we took out a pivot, continued, and we've been consolidating. So with 3 days left of the trading year, boom, that happens. So everyone goes, what do you do now? Well, you had a few adjustment points. One was 2266, which we talked about on Twitter. The next was the 8-day, and then you had 2256, and then you even had 2248, and we closed literally right there. So does this mean game over? No, but what it means is if you were playing for a upper pennant breakout to the upside, this took it off the table. So for me, it got me flat a lot of indices. So Lulu and I were talking. Lulu, come here. Look at me. Look at me. When we were talking about the financials this morning on how strong they were and how maybe they could break out, and we were talking about the Qs, maybe they could hold 119.50, and then what happened? They went downward, just like your head. Okay, so if you look here at the FAS, which we talked about, the FAS had a nice looking bull flag, and this too got engulfed to the downside. So if you were in it for a breakout above 42 and change, basically, it broke below. So one level was 41.95 to use as a stop. Another one was 41.18 to use as a stop, and now it's at the bottom end of the range. So does that mean the financials are cooked and done? No, it means that if you were playing for new highs to upper levels, that way you had to get out or get at least down to a smaller level that just in case you hit the 21-day or correct it a little bit further, you weren't in harm's way because you have a few other levels here. So, just like Lulu, I think, is getting a little anxious being here, I think the Bulls, right? Do you think the Bulls are a little anxious? I think so. Are you okay over here? How cute is she? Anyway, I think some traders were a little anxious. So we're going to let Lulu go. Lulu, you can go now. Thank you very much. And, the same way some Bulls walked out the door today, including me, thinking, hey, we might break out, we might not. Upper levels could change and could, the composure could change, and that's exactly what happened today. Just to give you a little bit of how did I manage my positions, because everyone's like, Redler, how do you do it so fast? Well, I came along Amazon, I came along Netflix, I came along Bank of America, some spiders, and what else did I have? I had some FEZ and some Netflix. I think I might have said that. So I figure I give myself ways to get out and ways to add just in case. So let's go to Amazon first. Amazon, I said I was going to add if we got above the pivot of 774 and change. Okay, so I did add here pre-market, went up to about 780, sold some, and then when I went back below this, I actually wound up reducing, and then when it went red, I got out because now at this point, it doesn't look like it's game over, but I was playing for a break above the 50-day to another level here, and it didn't happen. So for me, I reduced, and I'll figure out what's next. It's still somewhat lagging considering that the S&P and the banks were all at highs, and this wasn't. So I'm going to be a little careful here. Netflix I was long from the other day. This too, look at the size of this engulfing bar. Okay, this tried to break out above 120.05, went 2 cents above it, and then got pretty beat up. So instead of sitting here and waiting for it to break the 8-day, which it might not, I said I'm going to get out when it goes red. Okay, what does it mean when it goes red? It means when it goes from up to down, or you could have used your morning low. So for me, okay, it opened up, okay, and couldn't break above this morning pivot. So when it broke above the afternoon support, this was my way out. Much better than down here. For the spiders, I sold some strength, and then I said I'm going to give it to the morning low. So here was your spiders, right? Your spiders were today opened up and fell. This could have been one stop, or when it made a low, I actually bought some here, and then I said I'm going to give it to the morning low, meaning like maybe this was just a quick correction to be regrouped and go, and then I put a stop in here, and then boom, you know, after a small little rally up, it wound up failing, breaking below 225.32, and that was my stop. Better here than all the way down there. So that's how you manage some positions. Sell some strength, get flat, maybe buy some back versus a morning low, and then figure out if you could sell a little bit or get stopped out, and it was worth the try. You know, Bank of America with Goldman Sachs strength tried to hang around. I did the same thing where, you know, I held it. I even held through this, and then I said if it breaks the morning low, I'm just out of it. And that was 220, you know, what was it, 22.42, and get out of the way. Okay, this actually has lagged the bank move. If you go to Bank of America for now, as a day trade, okay, it not a swing trade, not something down the road, couldn't regroup and take out this spot, and then all of a sudden, you know, broke below this little pivot here. So for me, I'm going to get out of the way. I'm going to wait and see. What I did do is I caught a nice short in Nvidia. You know, this morning I tweeted as a joke around 9:20. I said, snowball to head. I think it goes red. And I wasn't going to short it, but then I was like, you know what, I put a quick little high in at 119.50, went to 119. I'm like, you know what, I'll short a little here versus the high of the morning. And then, you know, all of a sudden started to go lower. I added more, and then Citron came out with the article. I probably should have just held there, but when it went red and went down a little bit, I made like $2.50. I was like, ooh, I just stole some money short. And then covered it and wound up going a heck of a lot lower. But just so to show you that, you know, I talk about when something's hard to buy. Everyone's like, what does it mean when it's hard to buy, Red Dog? I'm like, well, here was your setup in Nvidia when it cleared a nice middle, you know, pivot area. And then up here, very far from the 8-day, you better be careful buying it up, especially up $2 today. So, you know, you could have shorted it when I did, or shorted it when it went below a prior high, or shorted it or added to it when it went below a prior low. And this engulfed this entire range. So now, look, it's still above the 8-day and still above the 21-day. Usually stocks, you know, get technically weaker when it gets to the 50-day. So that's how extended it was. If you want to look at the 5 minutes, you can see I actually had a really good short. I pretty much gave it away. There was no pain here. It opened up. Basically, I think I shorted, and you go to the 3-minute chart, you'll see it a little bit better. Is there a 3-minute chart here? No, there's a 1-minute chart. It was literally right here. It put its peak in, and then I was like, okay, at least now I have a level to trade against. Not even the 120, literally right here. Didn't get back above it. Added when it broke below this this spot, and then covered when it went flat into this, and then just didn't really even trade again. Actually, on the VTF, we shorted this bounce up to 113, and then I think I covered there, and then it wound up going a heck of a lot lower once again. But anyway, 2 nice trades, short Nvidia, not chasing it. If you miss a trade, you do not need to chase it and go back to it. You want to make sure you're prudent. And usually when you get into this last little parabolic stage, the last thing you want to do is buy it. I know a lot of guys were shorting it yesterday and got blown up, didn't go to it today. That's unfortunate. Today was the day it could have worked for you. I did tweet that I went long the TLT calls just because everyone's talking about this rebalance. So around 10 o'clock, I bought the, what did I buy? The 118.50s for January 6th, thinking that maybe, you know, it could help. And I had a nice move, sold 25%. I think I bought them for 72 cents. I sold some today for $1.05. It was a nice move. And now I'll give it a little bit more space. It's been absolutely crushed. I don't think there's much here, but maybe, you know, maybe you get a trade towards 120, and that would be some decent money. We'll see if 30 billion needs to be rebalanced. That's what our cash was talking about. But at this point, looks like it could head a little higher. Goldman Sachs in the banks was one of the only stocks holding up. And then finally, it was really odd, right? Everyone's like, oh, look at Goldman Sachs making highs. I'm like, but JP Morgan's down, Bank of America can't get a bid. Citigroup's not rallying. They're trying to prop up this market with Goldman Sachs. It's not going to stick. Well, anyway, it came down, closing the lows, and now we'll see if this little ascending channel breaks or does it correct more. And if it corrects more, you're going to see a bigger correction in the market, and you could see easily back to the 21-day or down to this 235. So all in all, you definitely saw some names that tried to hold up that gave way. You saw some sectors that had high-level pennants that seemed as if they could break to the upside if they wanted to. You know what? They didn't. They gave you a chance to sell because the markets were green in the morning. Then they broke yesterday's low. Then they broke the day before's low. And now all of a sudden, let's see even in the diamonds, you have now a pretty big engulfing day. Does it mean game over? Probably not, but this is the first time in a while you have a day like this that engulfed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 days. So typically that tells you that momentum has left for now. The way you see if there's commitment to a day like this, we call it a day to take notice. When you start strong and you break levels, it doesn't take back a half of it, meaning like you get a little bounce tomorrow, not very powerful, and then all of a sudden it takes this out, and it does seem like, why can't this take this out? So to me, this feels like, at least for 2016, Dow 20,000 is off the table for now. Maybe we have to see Dow 19,600 first, and that could be, in the next few days to start the year. We shall see. But you haven't seen a day like this in a long time, right? So we'll see if this means something. What it means to me is this upper range that we were trading for continuous momentum is now changed to something where you have to be a little bit more cautious. So with all that said, today was one of those days where you had to make changes. You had to manage your positions. If you've been riding the trend versus support, looking for momentum to the upside over the course of the, from the last 3-week range, you had to say, okay, it might not happen. Let me just reduce risk. If you've been long for multiple years and, this means nothing to you. If you're trading for alpha cash flow and trying to finish your December, then today you had to sell some Amazon into strength, reduce more when it broke back below 775 or 774.60, and also maybe get short Nvidia and get out of the indices and maybe flip short, and then you need to figure out where you want to go. Everyone's like, Red Dog, you should be short tonight. Tonight we close in the lows, engulfing day. I'm like, you know what? It's been a good little run. I'd rather just be flattish because tomorrow I'm only coming in for the morning call, and then I will be out Thursday afternoon into Friday. So today is my last recap. I hope everyone had an unbelievable year. If you didn't, it's fine. You have a lot of years left in you. Hopefully we don't see more of these headlines about Carrie Fisher and all these guys that, are having, just passing away. I can't believe how many people passed away this year. Let's put that behind us and not have as many in 2017. But anyway, I'm not saying anyone's going to pass away. I'm just saying that if you didn't reach your goals for 2016, look at your journal, take a look at what you did right, what you did wrong, build on the things that have worked well, and really take accountability to things you did wrong, whether it was buying too many shares, whether it was not holding long enough, which I don't do, whether it was not giving things enough times, whether it was shorting things a day early and not going back to it the day after, or buying things a day early and not buying it the day when it works. A lot of things that traders do that take work to create changes. So create those changes, and the only way you're going to create the changes is by being honest with yourself on what needs to be changed. Sounds not like brain surgery. It's just things that have to be done in order to evolve and keep trading, because we want to trade forever. I wish everyone the best. I'll see you at the morning call. Have a good night.